New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Well, greetings and welcome. Of course, this is New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig, and this is the Vibrant Living Hour. Hope this day, as always, finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and that you are absolutely doing what this show is all about, living your best life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Just hope all around it's just a wonderful, wonderful day. It's a wonderful day for me here on the show. I'm enjoying a beautiful early fall Colorado day. It's like 91 degrees outside right now, but that little touch of fall is in the air. You know that where you sleep with a blanket at night, where you wake up in the morning and it's cool. I love going outside to meditate first thing in the morning when it's cool outside. It's just so beautiful. And the sun is a little lower in the sky. Takes longer for it to get to the table where I meditate. Just a really nice place to sit, have my coffee, light my candles and my incense, and go within and start my day. Of course, those of you who know me or listen to the show know that daily spiritual practice is a huge piece of my life. And I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. And I have that kind of in a plan for the show today. The big piece of the show today is something we go back 4 weeks ago when we last talked about the 4 agreements. We were doing the 4 agreements, one a week, and we did 3 of them in a row, I believe. And then I had guests. I had Dr. Sue Morter on, and then I had Dr. Dana McGrady, and last week we had Sue Frederick on the show. And I did not want to forget the 4 agreements. So today we're going to talk about the 4th agreement. I do want you to know that I'm going to bring you more guests. I'm going to bring you guests, I think, of the quality that I've been bringing you guests so far. Sue Morter and Dana McGrady and Sue Frederick are just 3 amazing lights that I know in the world. And there's more. There's other people I can bring to the show, and I fully intend to. And we'll see we'll see how far up the ladder we can go, whatever that means to you, however that looks to you. I know back in the day on my radio show on What We're Thinking About on the Co-Creator Network, I interviewed some pretty big names in the world. I interviewed Lynn McTaggart, Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Those were all big name people that I interviewed, among many, many others. And I really always enjoyed having those big thought leaders in my midst on my show to talk to them and ask them questions. So we're going to try and see if we can kind of reignite that here on the Vibrant Living Hour. But in the meantime, back to the 4 agreements. And the 4th agreement, which we'll talk about here. The 4th agreement is always do your best. And it's a really interesting agreement in that if Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book, The 4 Agreements, of course, right? Don Miguel says the first agreement, be impeccable with your word, is the most important agreement. And there's, it's hard to disagree with. But when you get to the 4th agreement, always do your best is the one that drives your ability to make a habit of the other 3. And that's, it's an interesting conversation to have, because always do your best is not something that, I think is top of mind for most of us. It's not top of mind for me. I think it's something that you do habitually with certain things, but I don't know that we do it all the time with everything. My dad always said, if anything worth doing is worth doing right or worth doing well, or something like that is what Daddy said. But the truth is, it really is important to give your best effort on many, many, many different levels. Because when you do your best, it really reinforces within everything about who we are and how we approach everything. One of the great expressions that you hear all the time in my industry, in the network marketing direct selling industry, is it's about how you do things. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you do things half-assed, more than likely you do a lot of half-assed stuff. If you do your best all the time, more than likely you are giving your best all the time. By the way, if you're out there and you're watching the show, I would love to just know you're there. Please, please make a comment. Just say hi. If you have a question, if you have a statement you want to make, please jump in. I'm here to answer any questions, whether it's about the subject we're talking about or something else altogether. Please jump in and ask a question anytime you want. So again, fourth agreement is always do your best. And if you want to be impeccable with your word, and if you want to never take anything personally, and you never want to make assumptions, those are all right. Those are the first three agreements. If you want to do those, if you want to embrace those as parts of your life, what you really need to accomplish is to always do your best at them. So that's why this fourth agreement kind of drives the rest of them. So there's a question that comes to my mind then. Am I doing my best? What am I doing my best at? Am I doing my best personally? Am I doing my best in the case of self-care? Am I doing my best in my relationship? Am I doing my best in business? Am I doing the best in my community? Am I doing my best as far as the planet is concerned? Am I doing my best to be a beneficial presence? What are the answers to those questions? If I can answer those questions, yes, 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 and yes, I'm always doing my best at all of those things, then doing my best has become kind of a habit. And if you do your best with the other four agreements, with the other three agreements, if you do your best to be impeccable with your word, if you do your best with that, then you will learn to be impeccable with your word. If you decide not to take anything personally, let's back up for a second. I mean, being impeccable with your word is very much around the idea of always being of integrity, always being honest, always living up to whatever your agreement is, whether that agreement is with yourself, with others, with the planet, with the universe, whatever that agreement is, to always be impeccable with your word. The next agreement, of course, is don't take anything personally. Now, doing your best with not taking anything personally really comes down to understanding fully that what goes on in the world always and almost 100% of the time has very little to do with me. It has everything to do with how other people are reacting and responding to what's going on in the world. Just much as my life is a reflection of my reactions, my responses to the world. What other people are doing is their reaction and response to the world. It's not to me. So whatever they're doing, I need to not take it personally. The second and third agreement, both really, in a great many ways, have to do with don't make up stories. Don't create story. We make up stories, and the minute we make up stories, we attach an emotion to them. The minute we attach an emotion to them, now we have a feeling inside. Once we have that feeling, that then triggers all kinds of neurochemicals in our body. Are they stress hormones, or are they happy hormones? Are they oxytocin? Are they serotonin? Are they things that make me feel good, that make me feel upbeat? So that second agreement is don't take anything personally. Now, if you work on that, you will definitely find yourself getting better and better and better at allowing the world's occurrences to go through and by, to be something to take that observer stance and observe that this is what's happening in the world, and it is not about me. So I am not taking it personally. I want to repeat what I said at the top of the show. If you're out there and you're watching, I would love for you to just say hi. Just let me know you're there, and I'll be glad to acknowledge you out there. If you've got a question, if you've got a thought, a comment, please put it in the chat. And if at any time you want, just something off subject, please go ahead and do it. Be my guest. So the third agreement then is don't make assumptions. And again, just like I just said, this is really very much about making up stories. We get into the habit of every time anything happens, we create a scenario that makes it make sense to us. And because it makes sense to us, doesn't mean it makes sense in general. It just makes sense to whatever's going on in our belief system, in our world, in this moment. And so we make these assumptions about people, about situations, about points of view, around situations in the world, around the virus and vaccines and all those things that are going on. We make assumptions based on our limited knowledge of the universe, of the world. And trust me, the older I get, the more I realize how little I know. I know a lot. After 70 years, I know a lot. But if you live 70 years, you realize that there is so much more to know that I will never know. That it really doesn't make sense to make assumptions about anything else that's going on in the world. So, once again, if I always do my best, if I catch myself, and I'll talk about that in a moment here, but if I catch myself every time I'm making an assumption or I'm making a story or I'm creating a scenario that is just wholly out of my imagination, if I can catch myself, stop myself, correct myself there and do it gently without condemning or judging myself, I will get better and better and better at not making assumptions. And as you do your best to activate your best effort in each of those three agreements, all right, once again, be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. If you can always do your best with them, then you are well on the way to the fourth agreement, always doing your best. There's all kinds of physiological reasons, by the way, to always do your best. And I kind of touched on that a minute ago, but the idea that you're always going to just feel better doing your best. You will always feel like something is going on that is good, that is uplifting, that is empowering, because you're doing your best. You can't do any more than your best. We can certainly do less than our best. We can try to do more than our best. If we try to do more than our best, what we usually do is wind up disappointing ourselves. So that's not worth it. Just do your best. And understand that your best is a moving target. How do you feel today? Are you healthy or are you sick? Do you have a cold or are you feeling like $1,000,000? Did you do your DSP today? For me, that's imperative. DSP, daily spiritual practice. Get up. I do my meditation. I light my candles and I light my incense and I sit down at my table outside, like I said earlier, and I meditate. And I meditate. I use meditation music these days, and I do that because if I'm outside, there's a lot of ambient noise, and I try to just kind of negate that with the music. But I almost always am also using my transcendental meditation mantra at the same time. And I get out there and I meditate. And I meditate, talk about a moving target, anytime between, on a day when if I'm really pressed, if I've got things going on, I might meditate for 20 minutes. That's rare. Always somewhere between 30 and 35 minutes and an hour to an hour and 5 or 10 minutes. Just depends on where I go, where my affirmations take me, where my prayer work takes me, which is all woven into that meditative practice, my meditation practice. And then I do my affirmations. I have 6 pages. I've showed you before, 6 pages of affirmations. And then I have another 4 pages in a little binder that I have that I also use for affirmations. And then I have some intentions around this huge transition that is going on in the life of my beloved Lisa and I. Huge transition. And I have just some intentions. I have a list. It's a thin piece of paper. It's about that long. And there's probably 20 different items on there of our intentions for this enormous transition we're going through. And that's how I set myself up to do my best, to keep myself as balanced. To use my old buddy here, my CBD as a reference, to continue to create homeostasis in my body, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it starts with that DSP. So am I doing my best there? Am I doing my best in my community? Am I doing my best with recycling? Am I doing my best with anything that's a part of my life? Am I doing the best I can possibly do in that particular circumstance? I have an affirmation I say in the morning. It says, in every situation and circumstance I find myself in today, I present the very best version of me I have available in that moment. In that moment is the key piece. Always and only present the very best version of who you have in the moment. And again, because that's a moving target. If I'm just not feeling up to snuff, my best is not going to be as potent or as brilliant as it would be if I'm feeling like $1 million. If I got up and I did my DSP and I worked out and I had a great breakfast and I had my shake in the morning, my protein shake, and I did all that and I had my CBD and and I just put all the ducks are in a row, doing my best that day is going to be off the freaking charts. But if I have one of those nights where I don't sleep well, maybe get up too often, another subject altogether. But perhaps then my best is not all that it could possibly be. So again, it's a moving target. And I just want to present this to you because I know so many of us, we try and do something new. We try and change things in our lives. We try and become more than we were yesterday. We try and change things for the better or maintain things that are fabulous. And we fall short. And when we fall short, too many of us have a tendency to just beat ourselves up, beat ourselves to death because, wow, I just failed. I suck. I didn't do it. I didn't make it. I wish I could get things right. But whatever darts you throw at yourself, whatever dirty looks you give yourself in the mirror, they're not worth it. Because all you're doing is denying yourself the ability to move forward. And again, physiologically, you're now pumping all those stress hormones into your body. Cortisol and adrenaline, the things that long-term keep us in that fight or flight mode and wreak havoc on the cells of our bodies. So avoid that. And again, this is key, I think. This is part of being impeccable with your word and not taking anything personally as well. Don't take it personally refers to myself as well. When things don't go the way I've planned or the way I decided I was going to have them work out, to take it out on me, to take it personally is silly. And the fact that I was not impeccable with my word because I didn't quite meet the mark, to beat myself up over that is silly. Part of always doing your best is to learn to catch what I used to teach in my workshop that I call catch and correct. Catch yourself in the moment that you are not doing what it was that you said you were going to do and that you really, really, really wanted to be a reflection of the person who you're becoming or the person who you really are. But at the same time, gently correct yourself. Just gently correct yourself. Do not tell yourself what a jerk you are or what a boob or how useless or worthless you are. Tell yourself, you know what? I didn't quite get there this time. Next time I'll do better. And if the 4 agreements are something you're working on or they're working for you, because I will be impeccable with my word. I will not take it personally. I will not make assumptions, and I will do my best, depending on what aspect, if not all 4 of those, is part of your paradigm in the moment. Just absolutely know. Absolutely know that you'll be okay, that you can and you will correct it. And there won't be anything to beat yourself up about. Always know that just like your best is a moving target, that it will vary on day to day on how you are and what you're doing and what you're up to. It's also something that can improve. As you work on it, as you practice those things, you will just become better and better and better, and your best will up level further and further. Always do better. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. That's an expression that comes from a friend of mine, Mark McIntosh. You have to be willing, no matter what it is you're endeavoring to do, you have to be willing to be less than perfect or less than permanent. You know, it's one of my favorite, I don't know if I ever said that on the show. One of my favorite things is the old practice makes perfect cliche, which is just not true. Practice does not make perfect. What practice does is it makes permanent. And you can change that permanence depending on what it is you want to practice. So if you want to practice something new, you practice something new. And what that does is replace something that you've been practicing before that maybe wasn't working for you, or that maybe you want to up level now at this point. When you always do your best, you're going to feel a sense of being productive, a sense of being able to do things. You're going to practice self-care. You're going to practice all of those morning rituals. If you're like me, I'm going to be on fire with my DSP and my workout and my shake and my CBD. I'm going to be lit up with doing those things and feeling that sense of, yes, here I am, here I go. Watch out, world. Ken Ludwig's coming. And we can all do that with practice. Practice, practice, practice. Remember the old joke, right? I probably told this before. That's one of my favorites, actually, because it's so indicative of how we get good at the things we get good at. The breathless tourist that jumps into the back of the cab in New York City and says, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? And the cabbie says, practice, practice, practice. None of us is good at anything we're good at by some lightning strike of brilliance or some major epiphany. We're good at the things we're good at because we have practiced them all our lives or for a period of time. You learn to drive by practicing. You went from scared to death of the guy from the motor vehicle department who's going to grade your test to being a great driver, someone who can parallel park unconsciously 20 or 30 years later because you practiced. Every athlete in the world gets better at what they do because they practice. Every artist in the world gets better at what they do because they practice. And by artists, I mean all, pick one. That includes musicians. Obviously, musicians is the great example. Musicians practice all the time. I'm trying to think of a great example. You've probably yourself heard many, many examples of great guitar players in particular who practice almost every day. Pick up the guitar and play almost every day. Because it's what they do. This is how they continue to get better and better and better at what they are, at their profession, at what they do. When you always do your best, you're going to just feel more alive in every situation with other human beings, in every interaction, in every business endeavor. You're just going to feel a sense of confidence and poise and professionalism, if you will. You're going to just feel that. Why? Because you know that given the situation, whatever it is, you are doing your best. No one can ask more of you than that. I want to repeat what I said earlier today a couple of times here. If you're watching the show, please just in the comments, just say hi. Let me know that you're out there. If you got a question, please ask it. If you've got a comment, even if it's a question or a comment that is off the topic I'm on, please lay it on me. I'm here to I'm here to discuss. I'm here to talk. When we don't have a guest, I'll talk with you guys. Love to do that. So the only other thing I want to say about practice and always doing your best is sometimes we practice very hard, and I've talked about this before on the show. We practice very, very hard things that are not necessarily life-affirming. Those of you who might know my story is, I've been sober for over 33 years. Prior to that, though, I had 25 years of drug and alcohol abuse. I was a world-class alcoholic and drug user because I practiced every day. And I mean literally every day. Hi, Sheena. Thanks for joining me. Glad you're here. So what you want to really focus your practicing your best on is things that are life affirming, things that move your life forward. I mean, practicing my alcoholism and drug abuse was not life affirming, obviously. And at this point in my life, I practice every day sobriety, but I don't do it consciously, if you will, because I have practiced it for 33 plus years. I don't need to do it consciously. It's like driving. I wake up every morning sober. I go to bed every night sober. It's never even on my radar to be anything but sober, because that's what I practiced for now more years than I practiced the other stuff. So yeah, there's more to the 4 agreements. There are 2 more chapters in this book past the 4th agreement. They are the Toltec Path to Freedom, and a very short chapter at the end that's called Heaven on Earth. And we will get to those. We will definitely delve into them and talk about them before we finish our conversation around the 4 agreements. So, but we've now covered all 4 agreements. And if anybody has any questions about those agreements, please ask me. And I did want to read you this one section in this 4th chapter. And actually, it's the 5th chapter, I believe, because he has a couple other things going on here beforehand. Let's just double check. I don't know why, other than to satisfy myself. It is the fourth agreement is the 5th chapter. But here's a great lesson in doing your best. There was a man who wanted to transcend his suffering. So he went to a Buddhist temple to find a master to help him. He went to the master and he asked, "Master, if I meditate 4 hours a day, how long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 4 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 10 years. Thinking he could do better, the man then said, "Oh, master, what if I meditated 8 hours a day? How long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 8 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 20 years. "But why will it take me longer if I meditate more?" the man asked. The master replied, "You are not here to sacrifice your joy or your life. You are here to live, to be happy, and to love. If you can do your best in 2 hours of meditation, but you spend 8 hours instead, you will only grow tired, miss the point, and you won't enjoy your life. Do your best, and perhaps you will learn that no matter how long you meditate, you can live, love, and be happy." I love that. I just love that, man. It's doing your best does not necessarily mean doing more of what you're doing. It means do your best and be happy with your best and be satisfied with your best and know that your best will always get the results that you desire. And unless somebody out there has a question, I think that's what we'll talk about. That's about the end of the 4th agreement for today. And we will talk about those other 2 agreements later on. I had something. There's an old, it's kind of a poem, I think. It's called God's Porch. And it's something that a person in my life who's long gone introduced me to many, many years ago. And all I can remember really was the last line of this. But I found it the other day going through a huge box of photographs in preparation for this enormous transition that my beloved Lisa and I are embarking on. And I found this thing on this little piece of paper here, and I want to read it to you. I have to rewrite it because the handwriting is god awful and I have trouble reading it. But it's called God's Porch. If I could sit across from God, I'd thank him for the glory of morning and the skies. I'd thank him for the magic of a child's soft smile, for the memories, and for this wonderful feeling we call love. I'd thank him for the hopes and dreams of this sweet life. And most of all, I'd thank him for lending me you. I love that. It's such a beautiful expression of appreciation for anyone, anyone in our lives or for everyone in our lives. In this case, as I'm sitting here looking into this camera, I'm thanking God for lending me you. All those who are watching live and all those who will watch on the replay, I'm grateful for your presence in my life, for your, as I'll say at the end of the show, for the gift of your time and attention. And I thank the divine for lending me you. That's important. So I mentioned my beloved Lisa and I are off on this amazing transition. I think I'll keep this transition to myself for the time being, but it's a huge transition. It's a shift in our lives at pretty much every level, and it's exciting and intimidating and scarier than hell all at once. And we've talked about this this subject before about anxiety, and I'm just not an anxious person. I just don't get stressed out. Excuse me here while I have a. It's just not really a part of my makeup. I don't get stressed out. But the time when I do get most stressed, most often, again, which is not often, but most often, it's at night. And it's in the middle of the night. I rarely have any trouble whatsoever falling asleep, but I'll wake up in the middle of the night to maybe go to the bathroom and the thoughts start. The stinking thinking starts. I always refer to them as management nightmares. Things that are going on in my life, that there's this to do and that to do and the other thing to do and more to do and still more to do. And how do I line it up and how do I get it done? How do I get it accomplished? And I wind up there, my little monkey mind is going a million miles a minute and I can't get back to sleep. And what happens is when we're talking about something like this huge transition my beloved and I are making, I get really, really anxious about the fact that I'm not sleeping. I go to my transcendental meditation mantra. I try to take myself into the higher mind. I try to take myself up into the triumvirate, if you will, of Abraham Hicks vortex and the science of mind, universal mind, and the quantum field. All three of those to me are the same thing. But try and take myself to them, to the quantum field, to the infinite mind, to the vortex, and take myself in there and maybe envision what it is I want to manifest in my life by vibrating at that level and blah. And I try so hard that it doesn't even come close. I'm off. Monkey mind has got me again, and it's racing off anywhere and everywhere. So last night it happened, 2:00 in the morning. And I did something that I have resisted doing forever, basically. I went to the things I do before I go to bed. Before I go to bed, I have my CBD and I have a spray. It's called Sleep. And I got up at 2:00 in the morning and I went down in the kitchen and I got my 750 milligram, absolutely pure full spectrum CBD. I did a half a dropper full. Then I went back upstairs and on my nightstand is this. This is an amazing product. It's called Sleep. It's another brand under the umbrella of the same company that my CBD comes from. And I did 8 sprays of this under my tongue. And I was not awake for another 10 minutes. I was out. And I slept through to the morning. And here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing for me with these 2 products in particular, I know lots of people do natural products to help them sleep. And when they do the natural products to help them sleep, they wake up feeling a little dopey, a little hungover. There's none of that with these products. So I wanted to let you know that if I got to be careful. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to make medical claims here. But what I do want you to know is that this product, by the way, this particular product, HempWorks, and I'll put up the URL for it at the end of the show. In fact, why don't I just do that right now? Hang on 1 second here. This one right here. This is the sponsor of my show, hempworks.com. This is the cleanest, purest, most potent CBD you're going to find anywhere on the planet. It is full spectrum, which has 0.3% or less of THC. It also comes in a broad spectrum, which is THC free for anybody who might be super sensitive to THC, maybe allergic to it. That's a real rarity, but it's possible. Or somebody who's taking a really serious work or probation drug test. The broad spectrum is for you because there's nothing there to detect because there's no THC in it. But the almost universal effects of CBD are these. It reduces stress. It is conducive to better sleep. And for most people, it can bring pain relief. Those are proven results from CBD. Now, there's a gazillion other things it does because your entire body has CBD receptors on almost every single cell of your body. So it's going to influence every single part of your body, and its main focus, its main purpose, as I have said before, is to bring about or to promote homeostasis. Homeostasis is balance. That's what CBD does in your body. Anything that's wrong with your body, anything that's going on, I don't care what it is, name a condition, it's out of balance. It's out of homeostasis. CBD facilitates getting back into homeostasis. If you have any questions about anything to do with CBD or the endocannabinoid system, which is that system in your body that are those receptors on every single cell, if you've got questions about any of that, please find me. Okay. On top of that, you can find me right here. You can go to this email address, teamrockitnow@gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer your questions about that. Any questions you might have about it. You can also, as long as I'm here, I might as well give you the rest of it. You can go to Vibrant Aging, which is my wife's and my branded Facebook page. Very much tied into the Vibrant Living Hour is the idea of Vibrant Aging. They are very much two sides of the same coin. Again, I just want to repeat this for anybody who's out there. If you are listening, if you're watching the show, please make a comment, make a statement, ask me a question. Just let me know you're there. I'm thrilled to address anything and everything you want to talk about, whether it's on the subject I'm discussing or nothing to do with the subject I'm discussing. It's fine with me. So that's how I got rid of my anxiety last night, and it was really, really cool. And I'll give you a corollary to that. Anytime I'm feeling anxious to the point where it's distracting, and I think you know what I mean, where you can't keep your mind off it, what it is that's disturbing you or bothering you or making you uncomfortable. You can't get your mind off it. That to me is anxiety. And trust me when I tell you that CBD works wonders for me only 100% of the time. Half a dropper full or a full dropper full, depending on the situation, under my tongue, hold it for 20, 30 seconds, boom, done. Anxiety is gone. And those of you who've been watching the show for a while, you know that I used it to great extent to help me relieve the nerve pain of sciatica in order to be able to exercise and stretch to relieve the causation behind the sciatica. Worked like a charm for me there. So yeah, CBD, man, it is my sponsor. It is, I can help. One more thing I want to read to you today. And this has to do with the idea of this huge transition that Lisa and I are undertaking. And it's, I don't know why I don't feel comfortable talking about it yet, but I just don't. But we'll get there. We'll get there soon enough. I see another couple of people have joined us. If you want to make a statement or a comment or ask a question, please do it. The road that leads to my best and most meaningful life may lie in uncharted territory on the other side of all I have ever known. I trust that the urge to grow and explore is divinely inspired. And with faith and courage, I follow guidance when it prompts me to seek new horizons. When I am to begin a journey of discovery, I reflect on my life so far and all I still wish to do and become. I ground myself in the comforting knowledge that no matter the terrain before me, the divine guides my steps, and those steps are assured. I spot vistas ahead and am filled with gratitude and wonder as my horizons expand and new opportunities arrive. This is something that my prayer partner sent me, and it touched me very much in a couple of different ways. The very first sentence: "The road that leads to my best and most meaningful life may lie in uncharted territory on the other side of all I have ever known." Not only is that big um, a big mirror, if you will, or a big light on this transition that my beloved and I are planning, but also the word "best" in there, my best and most meaningful life, really kind of reflected back to me the idea of what we're talking about today with the fourth agreement. Always do my best. We've talked about this before. We get older, and as we get older, it gets more and more easy to just say no to new, to different, to exciting, to adventurous. It's easy to just say, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll just stay right here." But if you want to live, if you want to be excited about your existence, about life, you absolutely have to learn to say yes. And that's this transition that Lisa and I are embarking on. This was the biggest, perhaps the biggest yes of my life. And it will change everything that we're doing. Everything that we're about right now will change into something else. We'll go into a different realm. But it's about saying yes. And it took me a while to say yes. Lisa was a big yes right away. It took me a while to get there. I'm there now. It is a yes. It's a yes, and it's a big yes. It's an exciting yes. It's a scary yes. It's an adventurous yes. But yes, nonetheless. So I also wanted to I want to just put it out there today that I have so many things, from workshops, from studies, from all kinds of things that I've done in the past, that are subjects I would love to bring to the table here. And I'm going to do that as I see fit, as they work for me. But what I really want to know is, what do you want to hear about? What's on your mind? What would you truly like to have the Vibrant Living Hour be about? What would you like to discuss? And if I brought it on to the table, a subject that you were interested in hearing about, would you participate? Would you get on the comments here, and would you ask questions? Would you make comments on what it is that we're discussing? Please, anybody and everybody, it's an open invitation. I would love to have you participate on that level, because I find it exciting when I'm teaching from a standpoint of things that I know at least somebody wants to learn. Kind of assume that if you've got anything to teach, there's always someone out there who needs to learn it. But it's really even better to know that there's at least one person in particular who said, "Please teach me this." That I would love to do. I would love to accomplish that. So I did a Facebook Live, or was it a reel? I don't. You know what? I'm working on this team in my my network marketing business, and it's called a master class, and we're learning some things around social media in particular, and doing things that we've not done before. In my case, that's a lot, but I did a couple of reels. I think they're Instagram. I'm not even sure what the hell they are, but I did a couple of them. And the one I did the other day, day before yesterday, I think, was interesting to me, and that it's something that's been on my mind for a while. And I tried to track down, where did I get this thought from? Where did it come from? And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, did I think this in my sleep or something? Is this an original thought that I just didn't know I had? Or how did this come about? But the idea was about the something we hear about all the time: authenticity. And it's particularly important if you're in business and if you're an entrepreneur, which is, my life. That's been my life for a very long time. But you need to be your authentic self. And I think most of us would like to believe that we are our authentic selves all the time, until you stop and ask yourself some questions. What masks do I put on for this situation, or for that person, or for this customer, or when I'm talking about this particular subject? Am I authentically me, or am I the great pretender? Am I somebody else? Am I a poser? And I think this may have been something I got that came to me as a result of some of the poetic introductions that Oriah Mountain Dreamer did to her books many years ago, The Call and The Invitation and The Dance. But the question is, the statement is, suppose the question is not, why am I so seldom the person I really want to be? But rather, why do I so seldom want to be the person who I really am? I love that question or that statement. Why am I so seldom the person that I really want to be? Or is it, why do I so seldom want to be the person who I really am? We all have this idea of our goals, our intentions. What's that next highest vision of me? What am I going to be when I grow up? Right? Those kinds of thoughts. We all have those kinds of things going on in our head. But the truth is, I am a particular iteration of me right now, right here. This is the person who I really am. How I am expressing myself right now on the Vibrant Living Hour, this is the person who I really am. Now, when I finish this show, I may have all kinds of thoughts about the person who I really wanted to be. But that's almost inconsequential. In fact, it might be totally inconsequential. Because who I am in this moment is who I really am. I can't be anything else but me right now, right here. And if there's a mask on me right now, right here, then somewhere along the line, I need to stop and think about, that was a projection of who I really want to be. It's not who I really am. And I think part of that plays into what the beginning of the show was about. Always do your best. If I'm always doing my best to be the next highest vision of Ken Ludwig that I can possibly be, then I am always going to be my authentic self. Because the next highest vision of me cannot honestly, legitimately be somebody else or be something else. Right? The old joke. Be yourself, everybody else is taken. So just a little food for thought about authenticity. If you really want to be a reflection of the authentic self that you know in your heart is who you are, then you have to do, or you have to live a life in alignment with the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make any assumptions, and always do your best. That's pretty much it for me today. We're a little short. I'm not going to go the full hour, I don't think, today. Let's go back here and give you the ways that this can all be brought into your life. You can find me on Facebook at Vibrant Aging, or you can find me on Facebook just Ken Ludwig, and you'll recognize this pretty little face. You can go to my email address, my Gmail address, teamrockitnow@gmail.com. And folks, trust me when I tell you, I will entertain anything and everything that you want to talk about. So if you want to email me with a question, if you don't want to do it here on the show, please feel free to do so. But write that down, teamrockitnow@gmail.com. Also, if you were particularly resonated with any of my first 3 guests, Dr. Sue Morter, Dr. Dana McGrady, and Sue Frederick, if you would like to be in contact with them, please let me know, and I'll be glad to point you in the right direction. I took down their contact information from the banners here after they were on the show, but I'll be glad to hook you up because I know that they're wide open to talking to anyone and everyone who wants any advice or has thoughts or wants to ask a question of them. always remember, please always remember that the New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. We live and breathe by virtue of donations. So please go to newthoughtmedia.org. That's ntmedia.org, and click on donate. And please, whatever you have, no donation is too small. Obviously, none are too large either. But please feel free to donate whatever it is that you have in your heart. If there's something about New Thought Media Network that uplifts you, please donate. And if it has anything to do with the Vibrant Living Hour, make sure you let New Thought Media Network know that's why you're donating, because you love me, you love the Vibrant Living Hour, you love what we talk about here. And last but not least, of course, is my sponsor, hempworks.com. Use the /Ken Ludwig to get on there and have a look. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll see two prices there. Okay. One price is the retail price. The other price is the preferred customer price. If you go on there and there's anything that you want to purchase, you just simply, when the question comes, who is your enroller, or who is your referrer or sponsor or something, whatever it says, when it says who, that's who. Ken Ludwig. No spaces. And actually, it's a capital K and a capital L when you do the referrer. Not that I think it matters. And it's going to ask you again, is this your referrer? And you just say yes, and you will get that preferred customer price. You will not pay retail. If you have any questions about that, if you want to know more about any of those CBD products, if you want to know about our incredible sprays, if you want to know about the greatest sale in essential oils on the planet, we have our 6-pack of our very special blends of essential oils. It's a $110 box of these oils, which, if you know anything about essential oils, is an amazing price for 6 bottles. Guess what? We got a buy one, get one free going on until whatever the heck it is, next Tuesday, I think. Yeah, buy one, get one free. So it's $110. You get 2 boxes. And by the way, they're a beautiful gift box if you want to give somebody a gift of essential oils. There are other things on the website. We are a house of brands. The company is My Daily Choice. HempWorks is a brand underneath that umbrella. There are 6 brands, soon to be 8 brands underneath there, one of which is hemp clothing called Hemp Mama. And the mama is a reference to Mother Earth. It's not a reference to women's clothing. Hemp Mama is a great line of basically sustainable clothing. I have... they rolled out the men's fashion slower than the women's. Gee, I wonder why that is. But I only so far have one T-shirt. I will tell you this. It is the softest, nicest T-shirt I have ever owned in my life. It's almost like you don't even know it's on. It's so light and soft. It's just the softest material ever. And the more you wash it, the softer it gets. And it will literally last forever. And it is, again, sustainable clothing. So that's under there as well. The sprays, the essential oils, the HempWorks, all manner of CBD and CBD infused products. Remember, the 2 different kinds of tinctures. Each of them comes in 3 different concentrations: 500 milligram, 750 milligram, 1,000 milligram. They come in 7 different flavors. Nobody has 7 flavors. It is, again, the cleanest, most residue-free, and most potent CBD oil you will find anywhere. It comes in full spectrum, which has 0.3% THC or less, and it comes in broad spectrum, which is totally THC free. But we have relief cream for your aching joints and muscles. We have skincare. We have shampoo and conditioner. We have CBD infused coffee. You want to have a great cup of coffee? Try this. I'm a coffee snob. I love this stuff. We have dog treats. We have gummies. We have CBD bacon flavored for your puppy and for your cat, actually, because they love it too. Just more products with CBD in them than you've ever thought about in your life. So jump on, have a look. Hempworks.com is the main sponsor for the show, but that'll get you to the My Daily Choice website, and you can then go shop the other brands that are on there. Any questions, anything you want to know about any of that stuff, please find me. I'm glad to help you. So, as always, I am immensely grateful for the great gift that is your time and your attention. I am blessed by your presence. I wish you all the love and blessings the universe has to offer. And until the next time, have a magnificent rest of your day. Namaste.